not bring a petition tonight. I did bring a book. It's called Black's Law Dictionary. I think the other lawyer in the room probably knows what that is. And a copy of an ordinance. At our last meeting, I expressed a concern that the proposed ordinance to provide engineering services to fulfill the city engineer's position by Coleman Design Group was a conflict of interest. Black's Law Dictionary, for those of you who are not lawyers. Another great. Black's Law Dictionary goes back to 1890. It's sort of a lawyer's Bible, something we're given and followed to instruct us starting in law school. In fact, this very book was given to me by my brother, who was also a lawyer, when I got accepted to law school. So it is considered a very authoritative law source. The definition of conflict of interest, removing some of the opening verbiage, the term conflict of interest refers to a clash between public interest and the private pecuniary interest of an individual concerned. The design group in this place, and also the public interest is, of course, the interest of the city of Warson Woods to make sure that our engineering projects, our road projects, anything that the city engineer would be overseeing as part of his duties are being done with the oversight of the appropriate public official. Brings me to our city ordinance, city code 115.140 city engineer. One of the duties of the city engineer is that he or she shall be responsible for the implementation of all project work submitted by the Public Works Committee after approval of expenditures by the Board of Aldermen. So essentially, the city engineer is to be overseeing the work that has been approved by the Public Works Committee and approved by the Board of Aldermen. That's the role, one of the roles, there's several others, of the city attorney, city engineer. So in this case, we'd be paying Coleman Design Group to oversee themselves. Now, I know at the Public Works Committee, this issue was brought up, and there was some notion that our former city attorney had said that, well, they're just going to be making recommendations. They're not really a public official. But the ordinances I have seen on the agenda says that Coleman Design Group is to take over the role and the duties of the building commissioner and the city engineer. So even though they may not be personally named as the city engineer, they're going to be taking over that role. So essentially, whatever work Coleman Design Group is going to be doing going forward as it relates to any of our city projects, I know there's a lot being proposed, but they are going to be basically overseeing themselves. And so I do believe, according to the law, according to we have a conflict of interest ordinance as well, this would be a conflict of interest. So I don't understand how this board could approve this without at least a review by our new city attorney. And I believe that this should be tabled and again withdrawn like it was at the last meeting. If somebody has a better explanation as to how this is not a conflict of interest, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, sure. Look at the Code of Professional Conduct for Missouri Professional Engineers, okay? It's codified in the Missouri Code, Title 20, Department of Commerce and Insurance, 20 CSR 230 2.10 Code of Professional Conduct. It goes through all the requirements for professional engineers, land surveys, and architects. It specifically covers conflicts of interest. Specifically covers them, requires them to be disclosed, okay? And we would operate exactly like we've operated in the past because the board, this board approves all the construction contracts. It approves KDG's proposal for street repair services and scoping services and marking services. It approves KDG's design contracts if they need to design a new bridge or repair a bridge, okay? This board will oversee that, okay? And as a guy that's been the city engineer for the last 10 years and been involved in public works for 35 years and been a registered professional engineer in the state of Missouri for over 30 years, okay? I have never heard so much BS in my entire life over a conflict of interest for a qualified engineering firm that has done exceptional work for the city of Warson Woods and has been over, and our officials, the mayor, myself, other officials involved with the city have been very involved in every aspect of their work, very involved. So, you know, just like all the Save Our Police crap that we've been hearing, all I'm getting from a lot of the folks out here is that for some reason, we've been mismanaging our public works, okay? We've been mismanaging, misaligning, misusing funds, and that is the biggest crock of crap I've ever heard in my entire life. There is no conflict of interest, okay? None whatsoever. And our engineers are bound by this. They're registered as a firm, they're registered as individuals, okay? And you know what? If you find them not living up to their code on the conflict of interest, you can go report them to the Missouri board. And if you got a valid claim, they'll hear it. But I guarantee you the KDG would not have entered into this without their own legal review as to what they can do and what they can't do for the city of Warson Woods. Okay, it's an open and shut case.
I'm looking at my Black's Law Dictionary, and I'm not seeing BS or crap in here.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry. You know what? I'm done. I'm done with the specious allegations. Okay, the specious allegations against this board and the actions of the officials on the board of aldermen and our elected and appointed officials. I'm done with it. Okay, and if you got a problem with that, that's just too damn bad.
Alderman Delarco, I appreciate your service. I understand you've done this for 10 years as a city engineer, but I wonder if at some point, do we take a look at an alternative? How long has Coleman Design Group been doing this for? Have we looked at alternatives?
For a long, long time.
Do we look at
They are the best qualified firm because they know our city and they know it very well. They know our challenges. They've been out on every bridge inspection. They've been doing our street work for the last 10 years. They're up to date on our ADA challenges. They designed our park pavilion. You know what? This board has approved every KDG action unanimously, okay, over the last 10 years, okay? And they've done exceptional work for this city. Exceptional.
Mike, this board has changed a lot.
Exceptional work.
I know.
To include the work in front of your house, Lucy, okay? You had no problem with that.
Back to my original point, textbook conflict of interest, no doubt. Your statute that you cited, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, I'll read it again, but does not state that someone who is essentially being appointed to be city attorney, I'm sorry, say it again, city engineer, who is to be overseeing work that they're going to be doing. I understand it gets contracted out, the actual work gets done by somebody else, but we pay KDG, I haven't checked, I should probably done a request for it, how much we pay them a year for their engineering services, work that they do for us. If they're the city engineer and they're overseeing their own work, I think there's a
They're
problem.
not overseeing their own work.
Mr.
Because
Bub, 5 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next.